Start.
Hi, this is Adrian and welcome to my 351 project. And so to state some of the materials that I used in this project, I have a stepper motor, a potentiometer, a push button, and an RGB color sensor. And to explain what my Arduino code is doing, it first initializes the values for each of the coils and the RGBs, and then in my setup I have them all set to outputs because I want those to be sent to the processing code. And my first loop is basically reading the RGB values, and the way you read it is I have to use the H library and its set of functions for that, and I have those labeled and cited within the source of the code. And then what I have is I have a potentiometer, which I converted its code into voltage. And I also have the push button, which basically reads high when the button's being pushed. And so my second loop is saying when the potentiometer value is less than 1 and the button's set to high, the stepper motors will go in this sequence where 2 coils are turned on high at a time, and these repeated steps through each index will cause it to rotate clockwise. And then I have it set in other conditions where if the voltage is greater than 0, and if red is the primary color in the sensor, it will rotate counterclockwise. And I had that set by setting the coils the opposite as before, and I have the step going in the opposite direction. And to show that it works, when I press the button, you can see the stepper motor rotating counterclockwise. When it's pressed and when it's not pressed, it stays still. When red is the most shown color, it'll rotate the opposite direction. And then the same will go for the potentiometer when it's less than 1 volt, and then when it's greater than 4 volts. And this shows impact in my game, so let me run my game. So basically, the whole purpose is that I want to get the turtle to touch the hand at the end of the maze. But there are blockages. So what I have is I have the block being controlled by the potentiometer to where if it's greater than 4 volts, or if it's less than 1 volt, it will go down, and then certain walls will be removed. And then the same goes vice versa on the other side. So let me run the game as it's here. And also I have set for the color sensors is that in the processing code is that if the color is reading blue, the turtle will go down. And then if it's reading red, it'll go forward. And then if the push button is pressed, it goes backwards. So what I have to do is get the turtle at the end of the maze, so that means I have to go the potentiometer to be less than 1 volt, so then the next set of walls is taken off, and then I also set that if it's green, the turtle will go up, and so I have to repeat the sequence of motions until I win the game, essentially, which I'll get to. So finally, when the turtle actually collides with the hand, this GIF will play of me rubbing testudo, which shows that you have good luck for your exam. And then it'll loop, and then after you win, it resets the game. And some important things to also mention is that when you actually collide with the block, it shows that it resets. So there's no way to beat the game without colliding with the blocks. And that is the whole purpose of the game. Thank you.